Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessToTrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Hope everybody's doing well. Guys, take a second out, hit that like button, support your boy, and hopefully I will continue to do my best to point you in the right direction. So, after last week's 2% decline, despite the 2% rally on Friday, the question was, could we get a day two? If you watched the weekend video, I said I want to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt in the first two channels. The first two channels are hourly candles, at least for the PS60 theory. And if they couldn't rally in the first 2 hours, then I was going to start looking to the downside. But again, the most important part was our whole game plan was to the upside because I wanted to see if we could extend for day two. And we didn't have to wait, right? We really didn't have to wait an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour and a half, 90 minutes, 2 hours, right from the word go. This was one of the most unexpected. I think that's the best way of saying it. I personally was done about 90% of my day in the first 10, 15 minutes. I know a lot of you guys in the webinar were as well. This was perhaps I would say 100%, the most aggressive open that we had so far on the long side for 2026. The difference between today's day versus Friday, if you guys remember, Friday we had that ultimate melt up after the futures kind of washed out while everybody was asleep. So majority of the market participants on Thursday night's overnight session into Friday's action were kind of out of bounds because everybody was asleep. So you kind of had to play catch up on Friday to chase price performance. Today was completely different. You had majority of these stocks open up either flat, down a little bit or up a little bit. So you had your natural organic flow right in front of you. And right from the word go, it was go, right? It was absolutely go. Regardless of what you took on the long side, you had a massive, massive move in the first 10, 15 minutes. So let's talk about this, right? Oracle. Oracle's been left for dead. Absolutely left for dead for months and months and months. They got upgraded this morning. 150.50 was not only the pre-market high, it was also the opening range on the 60-minute channel. Again, guys, if you are interested in pivots and you are kind of like just doing nothing in your career, you're just trying out little things here, but for some reason, you've been following along and all this and that and just afraid to take the plunge, which I don't understand why. Again, everybody's always a little bit apprehensive of the unknown, but I promise you in 30 days, you'll be looking at the market completely different than your normal, right? The normal. You got to break away from that normal, guys. Again, I've been saying this for years. If you trade like everybody else, the same way, the same time horizon, the same stocks, you're probably going to have the same performance. So if you are interested, guys, click that link below, and I would love to expose you to the wonderful world of pivots. So Oracle got above this 150.50 area and just went out of its mind. I mean, and again, this is going to be the theme for tonight's update. So here was your 60-minute view, right? Here's your opening range channel. It was 150.5. It got back above 150.5 and just went out of its mind all the way up to 158. This is pretty much all within the first 10, 15 minutes. So you're going to see a really aggressive theme here. Google. Forgot about Google. Google, right, to the downside. 319.92. If it loses the 50-day, can get hit more. And here was Google, right? Here was Google, 319.92. At that time, was the 50-day moving average. So it got below this 319.92, traded all the way down to 317 before recovering with everything else. But again, if you caught it, good job. I was just on the long side today. This was my trade of the day. Everything we pretty much discussed was on last night's video, was on the weekend video. So again, 90% of all my research, all my data comes from the night before. So everything we talked about on the weekend video, we were watching, right? Again, you don't find your best value at the open. You find your best value after you're doing the previous night's research. And we talked about it on the weekend video how at least Nvidia closed above the 50-day moving average, right? So as soon as a stock closes above the 50-day moving average, at least you have a high probability that if the next day it confirms, the price action will kind of follow. And you had news right at the word go that Apollo is nearing a $3.4 billion deal to lease Nvidia chips to XAI. I got long off the 87, and this was, I mean, look, I've seen some big candles on Nvidia, but today's candle was just ridiculous. It was just absolutely ridiculous. Here's the 87. This damn thing put up a $6 candle at the open. Unbelievable, just absolutely unbelievable. Congratulations for all you guys who caught Nvidia, right? Nvidia was awesome. Hold on, where am I going here? Tesla got a really big boost. We talked about Tesla on the weekend video as well. 414.60, again, 3-star. There's a tier system, the PS60 theory. That's why, again, you'll see majority of setups 3 stars. In case you ever see a 5-star, that's a big macro setup. That's, again, a whole different conversation for another time. So 414.60, again, this is pretty much all done within the first hour. I know, so here is a 414.60, reclaim back the 150-day moving average, and Tesla just went nuts. Tesla went nuts all the way back to the 10-day moving average of 421. Is there another day for Tesla? We'll see. We'll get to that in a second. But again, really strong moves at the open. Texas Instruments, guys, watch TXN. This thing hasn't broken yet. But guys, watch TXM, man. Look how tight this is getting. This is just getting tighter and tighter and tighter, man. This thing eventually cracks the 10-day moving average. It's going to get hit. And it kind of correlates with the other memory names. Look at Micron. Just cannot rally, right? This is just flagging. Okay, again, we talked about in the weekend video. I have no interest in this thing until it gets back at least above the 397 initial area, then 413. But if this thing starts flagging to the downside, this thing could get hit as well. So anyway, Texas Instruments is just flagging along, man. Flagging along, just sitting here on the 10-day moving average. If there is any weakness in the market, watch this thing for potential move down. Amazon gave a quick move. A buyer started coming in, continued its bounce, at least in the beginning, continued its bounce. Then it put up a big move, but it traded right to supply, just a little bit under 213, which I know a lot of you guys pretty much sold at the top because I was literally the linear regression line on the 60-minute channel. Again, went red in the day. Not the greatest thing in the world. Sandisk, 562, held twice. If it builds below, can flush. Sandisk is a crazy stock. It really is. So it loses this 562 level, goes down to $10, right? Then reverses course, rallies, and then closes down $14 in the day. Folks, this is, again, same notes with Texas Instruments, same notes with Micron, same notes as SanDisk. These things are starting to build very heavy ceilings. And if there is another expansion date in the short term, keep an eye on this thing to the downside, because if they do crack, it's going to be pretty aggressive. But so far, so good there. Amazon, we just talked about, SanDisk, and MSTR, right? We talked about MSTR on the weekend video. Let's see, there's a day 2, right? 35.67 needs to confirm Friday's move. And here was MSTR, right? Took out the 35.67, traded right to 39, which is the 10-day moving average. It's going to need to get back above that, like that 140 area to establish a really aggressive base for another move up. But kind of a disconnect, right? Kind of a disconnect from MSTR for a second with BTC. If you guys remember, we've been talking about that 77,000 level on Bitcoin for a long time. It lost that 77 level last week, and now it's just basing, 69, 70,000. Guys, when an instrument, right, when an asset class, I'm going to use an asset class as an example. When an asset class is building below, right? We're going to use below as an example because that's what we're talking about. So when an asset class is building below, let's use IBIT as a representative. When it's building below a macro channel multiple months, it's not resting to go high, right? So for Bitcoin, and I'm going to say it this way. I have no dog in the fight. I'm not looking for a conversation, for people. Bitcoin, it's not really my thing. For Bitcoin to get back into the good graces to kind of eliminate this interval, it's going to need to get back above 77,000. So if you're looking for kind of that break, right, of selling, downward selling, it's going to need, I don't know how to use the word close because it trades 24 hours. But Bitcoin's going to need to get above 77,000. The longer it continues to build, below these levels, right, and is harping around last week's lows more than last week's highs, the higher probability you're going to see another yank. So remember, 77, it's going to need to get back above in its good graces. The longer it stays like this, the higher probability you will get another leg down. So let's talk about some other names I am watching for tomorrow's session. And again, the question going into tomorrow is, how long can this dead cat bounce? Because this is a dead cat bounce. Don't think for a second, this was the bottom guarantee. This is the bottom. If this was the guarantee bottom, everybody should be long max size, take out home equity loans if that's the case. We are below the 50-day moving average. Until we get above the 50-day moving average, every rally attempt is a dead cat bounce. It's just kind of what it is. When we get back above the 50-day moving average, which is roughly around 619, 620 close on the QQQs, that's at least when you can have the discussion, well, and maybe that was the low from last week. But until that happens, until the bulls technically confirm and reclaim back the 50-day moving average, everything is a bounce. The problem with bounces are you don't know how aggressive or passive they're going to be. You don't even know if this is an actual attribute to a bottoming out process. But for now, it's deemed a dead cat bounce until we get back above the 50-day. So let me give you guys some ideas for tomorrow. We talked about Texas Instruments. Look at CRWV. I know. The stock sucks. Trust me, I know. But in the last 2 days, what it did do was it got back above the 50-day moving average, and today got back above the 150-day moving average. That's good. It's good, right? Again, I'm not looking to marry this thing. I'm not looking for anything unbelievable, but we did see some pretty aggressive January, February, March 20th, 110 and 120 calls. The last time there was a really aggressive call buying was right down here when it reclaimed back the 50-day moving average. So keep an eye on this thing for tomorrow. If it starts reclaiming back today's levels, maybe this thing can wake up. Oracle, right? Left for dead. First day up today, right? First day up today, it stopped at the 10-day moving average. Now, why is this important information? Because the last 3 times it hit the 10-day moving average, that was the top of the move for that interval. If you look at January 26th, hit the 10-day moving average, never confirmed the next day, it died. On January 28th, it hit the 10-day moving average, never confirmed the next day, it died. So is there a chance that tomorrow Oracle wakes up and it's lower? Absolutely. But again, we are not planning for the move lower. I want to see if it could reclaim back today's channel. Maybe the bottoming out process starts out with an upgrade, right? And it's exactly what happened today. So let's see if Oracle can get back above the 10-day moving average tomorrow for a potential day 2 run. Microsoft, same kind of notes. It's been destroyed. It's been beaten, but it did reclaim back the 5-day moving average. Again, for you guys who are brand new to trading, 5-day moving average is the shortest term sentiment. Doesn't mean it's a bottom. All it just means is it will potentially give you a tradable move to the next supply zone, which is 422. So I want to keep an eye on Microsoft for tomorrow. And last but not least, let's watch Roblox, right? Again, why Roblox? The software stocks was getting murdered, but kind of if Microsoft bounces, you're probably going to get Roblox bounce a second time around. As you can see, it stopped at the 20-day supply. Let's watch this thing for tomorrow. I still want to watch the options market if they come in. If it starts building back above the 20-day moving average, you can get a next leg up. So that's everybody. Again, we don't know if this is a dead cat bounce. We don't know if this is something more or something not. But again, I always have to talk about this. It's all about data. I don't care if you're bull, bear, or indifferent. It's about the opportunity, not about being right on one side of the market. Take it one day at a time. Take it one trade at a time. The memory stocks, again, the Microns, the SanDisk, the Texas Instruments continue to lag. Again, the bull cases, while they're resting, okay, everything's resting. I'm resting too, right? The bear cases, well, they had a magic run. They didn't participate in the last 2 days worth of bounces. Whatever doesn't go up must go. We shall see, said the blind man. We shall see. Guys, God bless everybody. Happy Monday, and I will see you all on the field tomorrow. Take care.